The world is confused now about what are the expectations of a man, and the men themselves feel so confused on what is expected about them. Because if you can look back when you were growing up as a man, as a young boy, there are people that you looked up to, men to be specifically. Maybe it was your father, maybe it was your uncle, maybe it was your grandfather, or maybe it was just somebody, a figure in your community. And in these people, you looked up to certain number of them, and you felt proud and you liked how they conducted themselves, and you felt that you could associate and emulate and learn a good number of things from them as far as the kind of man that you want to become. At the same time, though you really didn't understand so much about life, but your heart felt that you cannot emulate certain types of men in your community, and so you did not really want to associate with them. So where is the difference, or rather, where is the confusion? Why would a young boy who does not know so much about life choose to emulate certain types of men and not emulate certain types of men? My name is Chelsea, a simple man who grew up in the village, but I was always excited about what the city offers. I work as a medical doctor. I also write books and give speeches. I like taking a look into the most difficult things happening in the society on a day-to-day basis in a bid to try to unearth the solutions through research, conversations, debates, and sharing of knowledge through networking. Young girls sit down and watch their father, and they get attached to their father, and they developed a picture of how their future husbands, or at least a man that will be close to them, should be. But there are girls who have looked at their father or the men around them growing up, and they feel like they are unsafe staying close to men, maybe because of their experiences. And this has brought them confusion. And both the young boys and the girls growing up, maybe it is you and me, we thought as we grow up things are going to be clear. But again, you learn that when you meet different cultures, the expectations of men over a man keeps changing. Come again and look at the post-modernism world, so as it calls itself. The expectations laden over men. The men feel confused. The girls seem to be wanting the traditional man, but the men feel like the traditional man is endangered. So should the man be the traditional man or the modern man? There is a lot of confusion, and you are not alone. We also have experienced this confusion, and for this reason we sought out on a mission to try and find out if we can find different voices to help us come to a fair understanding on this one thing that keeps bothering us. What is a man?
The very baseline of masculinity, if you were to say to me, what is a man? My answer would be emotional control. That is the very bottom baseline important thing to be a man. As a woman, it's something else. But as a man, it's emotional control.
What a man is, and we say that a man is a champion. God created man in his image and his likeness, and he wants every man to walk in the integrity and the wholesome purity of the character of God.
For what is a man? A man is his heart. A lying, cheating heart means a lying, cheating man. A loving, merciful heart means a loving, merciful man. A living heart means a living man. A dead heart means a dead man. Regardless to man's title, regardless to man's wealth, rank, or position, if the heart is not great, then he cannot be great.
A good man is a very dangerous man who has himself under control. And no one ever says that. So you say to young men, look, like, your job is to be as dangerous as you possibly can be in every possible direction and to control that.
So we started with one question that led us to be curious about what we're going to find as far as this question is concerned. And the question is, what is a man? And we have talked with so many people in different, mostly men, to just hear from them what they feel that a man should be. Young, old, the experienced and not experienced. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, we are asking this one question, that what is a man? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow, it's a question that has been asked so many times, and there is no wrong answer.
Yes.
Of course, there's the biological aspect, and I'll bring another aspect, is a man must be centered, a man must know who he is in revelation on Christ, in as far as he's concerned.
Yeah.
A man is somebody who understands his purpose.
Yes.
Not the kind of car he drives, no. A man who understands and knows the reason as to why he was born.
Yeah.
Because then everything works towards what you were born for.
Yeah.
And then the male character, or the male, biological male,
Yeah.
and the value man fits into your purpose on earth.
Yes.
So then you know what you're supposed to do.
All right.
If I give you the key to a car, your car out there, you will not go to a bicycle because you understand the purpose for that car and what is in your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So in your perspective, so it starts with the mind,
The
like
mind.
understanding.
Yes. You must understand.
Yes.
Imagine if the guys who are recording us tell us 3, 2, 1, we are rolling. And we just look at the camera and keep quiet. We are not understanding our purpose here.
Yes.
We know why those cameras are here. I know why you're here. I know why I'm here.
Yes.
You ask, I answer. And they're recording.
Yes.
And then they know their purpose. They'll go and edit it after.
All right.
So if you don't get who you are in your mind, your heart, in as far as your purpose is concerned,
Yeah.
then you'll be taking 1 step forward and 20 steps back. Yeah.
Which is not good.
No, there's no movement at all. You'll appear busy, but there's no movement, there's no impact, there's no impartation.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you talk about now the character
Yes.
of a man,
Right.
what do you mean by
The
that?
value system. What do you stand for? I mean, a man who does not stand for anything will fall for everything and anything.
Yes.
What are your value systems? I'll ask you, Dr. Chubbs, what are your deal breakers? What are the things you believe in? I believe I will not take a bribe. I will believe I will not cheat on my wife. I will believe I'm supposed to raise my children well, and I will not compromise on this. What are your beliefs? Because you stand on the foundation of your value system.
Yeah.
Everything rises and falls on that. You know, if you decide my value system, I will never take a bribe, no matter what. I'm a doctor. I will never take a bribe.
Yeah.
If I'm told to compromise to get a certificate, no. To get permission to do this for county government, I will not. It is my value system. Even if I am wrong, I'm right and 1,000 people are wrong, I will not go with the crowd. As long as this is the direction I'm taking and it's not popular, but it's the right one. I gauge men, and when I talk to young boys, I want to know their value system.
Yeah.
What are the deal breakers? What are the non-negotiables?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what makes a man. Not these things that social media has lied to us. No,
All right.
not at all.
Today we are in the streets and we are asking one simple question. What is a man? What is being a man to you? Unaelewa aje vile unajiona wewe ni mwanaume? What does that mean to you?
Okay, it's a bit challenging question.
Okay.
I'm a man.
Okay.
Basically, by saying I'm a man is that I feel I have the powers that a man. Manhood means you have powers that you feel you are well powered. By meaning that you can tackle any problem on your own. You can achieve anything that you will to achieve. you can conquer anything that you are tasked or you face. Basically, that defines how I feel being a man.
Like for me, a man, I look for personality, and I also look if a guy is ambitious enough. Like kama kuna vision, you're just there, So for me, ambitions and also personality, yeah, it's a plus.
A man ni kuna vitu kadhaa ambayo inaweza kufanya kuwa mwanaume. Inua kidogo. Inaweza kufanya kuwa mwanaume. Kuwa mwanaume ni mambo kadhaa. One, lazima kuwa mzee unajituma. Two, lazima ukuwe mzee ambayo umejiweza mpaka umeweza kuleta familia. Usipoweza kuleta familia, my friend, mimi naweza kuhakikishia wewe si mwanaume kamili.
So unamaanisha mtu asipozaa si mwanaume?
Asipozaa, kuna tofauti ya kuzaa na kukua na familia. Inaweza kuwa Mungu amekuumba design ambayo huwezi saa, lakini uko na familia. Kwa mfano, maybe unaweza kuwa umekuwa na mama, umepata mama ama msichana kuna watoto wawili, lakini umeweza kuwatunza na kuwashikilia na kuwainua na kuendelea mbele na wao, lakini imaanishe eti kuzaa.
So unamaanisha ku be able to put the family together and lead.
Yeah. Kuleta familia pamoja na kuendelea mbele pamoja na kutimiza majukumu, kuleta chakula kwa meza, na pia mambo mengi tu, kuleta chakula kwa meza, kuleta pia security kwa familia. Unajua kuna familia zingine wanaume wamesembea hata mpaka mafisi wanaingia kwa boma. Lakini unapokuwa mwanaume unaguruma kwa boma na hata mafisi haziwezi karibia kwa boma, ndio kuwa mwanaume. Na pia unajua ukiwa kwa boma ama kwa familia kama mwanaume na hautimizi majukumu, basi ile familia itasambaratika. Sasa utakuwa mwanaume kweli? Hautakuwa mwanaume kamili. Utakuwa mwanaume lakini nusu.
My name is Ken Gomeri. I'm a content developer, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, and above all, I'm a son of the Most High God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a summarized but powerful introduction. Yes. Ken,
Yeah.
let me just start by asking you this weird question. You're a man or you're not a man?
I am a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes you feel and be confident that you are a man?
First of all, I think before I get there, maybe it's proper for me to define my idea of what is a man.
Yes.
For me to say that I am a man.
Okay.
And mine, I always say, when you want to understand something, go to the beginning. So for me, I'll go back to the book of Genesis, where God said, let's create man. And God made man. Then it doesn't stop there. Then he said male and female, made both.
Yeah.
So for me, male is gender, female is gender, but man is a state.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, so that's why Paul says, when I was a child, I thought, I acted, I reasoned, but the day I became a man. So for me, manhood, what we call a man, man is a state of understanding and comprehension. That now I moved from male to join the state called man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, that makes me ask another question. That the set of things that define a man. Do you mind just giving us just two that you feel this will help a man be clear on who he is?
First, the things that define a man to me are two. Your source and your order.
All right.
Yeah. Where you get everything that defines you and propels you. And number two, how your personal life. A man is an order. And how you put order around you. For me, those are the two things that defines a man. Yeah.
So about source, when you say source, what do you mean?
For me, I mean where you derive your definition of a man. For example, Hollywood has created an ideal concept of who a man is. You know, confident, you know, putting up makeup, and having a good tone, your posture, and you walk, and you know, there's a way people perceive you as confident and all that. I don't think that's manhood. For me, where you derive your idea of what is a man matters. First of all, I decide to derive my source from God. For he made a man, so he knows what a man is. And I don't allow these external poets and romantics to define who a man is. So fashion defines who a man is, language defines who a man is, modernity, no, that's not what should define a man. But where you derive your source of what defines a man is very important.
Okay. That source, order. Just in few words, what you mean by a man representing order?
Now, order means how you are able to bring out now your expression is not from a source that is weak, but from a source that has given you enough order to know this is how men respond. Because most of our responses as men are simply copied responses. They're not from a clear path that I can call a sustainable school of thoughts that now has brought out that thing which I call order. All of us are just looking at how I saw him doing like this, so I'll do like that. But having an order, for example, growing up in a house that had a father, there's a way your father did things that brought order into the house. So that order coming into you now defines a man. You know, not the order of your boys. They tell you don't do this, or this is how you do things, and if you don't do things like this is how you talk, this is not how you talk. No, there's a way you saw your parents doing things, especially your dad, and how your dad brought order. Now you can emulate and say, you know what, that's the order I want in myself as a man.
That's good. Let me challenge a lot of other men that we have interviewed. They'll say what makes them feel like a man is something like being able to provide for their family. And I think being heard as the leader of the family. But on the other side, we have women in the current society that women have their own jobs. They have their own means. So if I as a man will define myself as being able to provide, but the woman also is bringing sometimes even more on the table. So what is left for the man in the family setting?
You see, now those are things that make people lose themselves. You see, that's a role. And a role can't be you. You must define yourself out of something stronger so that you can be able to function in the roles. For example, I can use a single tool to do different jobs, but it still remains a hammer. You get? Just because I use a hammer to remove nails, I don't now make that ability to become the total definition of that instrument. You get? So what I say is that I will not allow one aspect or one role or function of what we call male to be able to define the totality of what a man is. Yeah.
So we are on a quest to find out, to understand things about this one question. What is a man? And we are talking to men mostly, but from the perspective of ladies also. If we can ask you this one question, what defines a man in your perspective as a lady?
Can I start by issuing a disclaimer? And of course I don't speak for everyone, now having said that, for me, the way I define a man would basically be anyone that identifies as a man, and I leave it at that, because a lot of things have been said about who a man is. A man should be this, a man should be that, a man does this, a man does that. But I find that those things are very limiting and very contextual, so that if you step outside one community and go to another, the definition of a man is completely changed. And that doesn't mean that now when you umetoka, the other person is any less of a man or not a man. So I leave it at a man is anyone that identifies as a man, period.
But I think it would be good if you will go into that. What do you mean by that?
But anyone that identifies as a man?
Yes.
I mean, now, how do I put this?
Like anyone, you mean, so if Serena today you say you're a man, then you are a man. Because you have chosen to identify as a man.
Yes, I respect people that choose to identify as genders that are, different from what they were assigned at birth. And so yes, if you identify as a man, that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe what about in the African context?
What about it?
For us in our culture, that we define man first of all from birth. Yes. So you come out, we see, yes,
this is a man, that's a boy.
This is a boy.
Yes.
This is a girl.
Yes. Yes.
Does that change?
I mean, in today's society, it doesn't really matter where you are geographically, because like now what we're talking about is mostly like trans people, and we have them amongst us. Yeah, I know several people that identify, as trans men and trans women. I would not step over their right to choose how they identify.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why for me, especially more so because I have interacted with them, then I'm able to say that if that is, if that's the gender you identify with, then that's enough for me to classify you as, as a man or woman, but we're talking about men.
Okay. Yeah. So let me be a little bit personal. If, let's say today, I don't know your plans, but let's say today you have a daughter, and at some point she says, I don't feel like I am a woman, I am a man.
Yeah.
You'll be okay with that?
100%.
Your child?
Yeah.
You don't feel anything awkward about it?
No, I got past that. I got past it.
When you say you got past that, what happened? What changed?
I'd say exposure. Like, initially when you grow up in a silo and things are only defined in one way, and then you start to meet people outside of the environment that you've been raised in, and you get to speak with them to understand, what they're about, the challenges that they face, get to read a bit more in depth about so over time, you just get to realize that it's really not, it's not my problem, it's not my business, it's them. So if that's what makes you happy, please do it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes. So let's go back to, you said a man is anyone who identifies as a man. There is that. Now, let's say this person that is identifying as a man is the biological man. And from you from the side of a lady, you're looking for a male-female relationship. Let's say a boyfriend, a husband. What will that ideal man look like? What are you looking at from the eyes of a lady? Are you a lady first?
Yes.
You are a lady, yes. Now let's talk from that angle. What are these things that you're looking for? Tick, tick, tick.
I really think you chose one of the wrongest people for this interview. But anyway, so for me, what I'd be looking for in a man, in a partner, I'd say would be just someone who's basically kind, yeah? Because then a lot of these other things are just, they say seek ye first the kingdom, and then all these things will be added. I seek first kindness, and then a lot of these other things are just additional pluses, yeah? So I'm not very picky, but I also am. So, but level 1 clearance would be kindness. And then when someone is kind, then now we can look into a lot of these other things, which again, as I said previously, are mutable. Yeah, it would depend.
Okay.
To me, a man is someone who is ought to be successful at success. They are expected to be successful at a certain age, and if they don't make it to that level within a given time limit, then the society will start looking down upon them. The society expect them to be strong all by themselves. So now, like whether someone is there or not, I think they should be able to stand by themselves without any support from any other person, which in most cases, and it is never in most cases it doesn't work well for them, so most of them, although they keep it to themselves, so they end up not talking about it, because hao wenyewe pia wanajiona ati, and if they share something to other people, and it's like they're degrading themselves, so they keep most of the things to themselves. To me, that is how I see men of today see themselves. Yeah.
From your own experience,
yes,
when did you realize that you're a man?
I realized I'm a man from when I was still very young, because sometimes when something happens and you're crying, you'll be told, "What are you crying and you're a man? Men don't cry. Keep quiet."
Yeah.
So I started knowing the difference that for you, number one, as a man, you're not allowed to cry, because in the society takes crying as a sign of weakness, that you have surrendered, you have thrown in the towel, you have surrendered, that is why you are crying. But a man, you should not express your emotions. Whether something happens to you, you need to really hold yourself.
Yeah.
In something, you've actually not, sometimes you've fallen and you're bleeding, but you're still told not to cry because you're a man. Men don't cry. Hold yourself. Men don't cry, so you hold yourself while you are crying inside.
Yeah.
So such kind of things. Now another thing how I learned I'm a man is, maybe you are fighting, and sometimes you are fighting with girls when you're still young, and a girl beats you. That was a major sin.
Yeah.
How can a girl beat you and you're a man? So you are expected to act beyond your capability. Because of the virtue, for the virtue that you're a man. So this girl is older than you and more energetic, and she will slap the hell out of you, and you're not expected. You are expected to fight back and beat her to confirm that you're a man, and such kind of thing. So I knew I'm a man from when I was very young.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it's more from your personal
and of course
experiences.
You also don't forget, the organs. Yes, mine is external. I don't see theirs. So I'm asking myself, what is the difference there? I'm seeing my gadget.
So yes, it's bought from the, let's just say directly, genitalia.
Yes, the genitalia.
That's the first thing that.
In fact, that was that was the very first one, because I'm seeing myself. I'm having a tool. I'm having a pistol, and this one does not have. So what's the difference? So this one is a girl. You're a boy. Oh, right. That's how I knew.
What do you think defines you as a man?
So, as for me, naweza sema kuwa mwanaume kaka, ndio kuwa mwanaume ni kuprovide kama msee kuna wife. Kama mimi niko na wife sasa na mtoi moja. So umkatua asubuhi kuchapa mboka yako vizuri na kwenda kwa kijana ukiwa na kitu, unaona? Ndio mimi nasema kuwa mwanaume ndio ukiongea hadi kwa nyumba unasikika na wife. Ukiongea kwa nyumba hadi kwa kijiji ukiongea watu bado wanakusikia. Juu siku hizi watu wanasemanga kuwa mwanaume lazima kuwa na pesa mfuko. Ndio hivyo. Ndio. Siku hizi hadi demi yote ukiweza chukua demi yote tu hapa hivi saa hii. Ukiweza mwambie unampenda atakuza kama kuna kitu. Unaona kuna nini? Na kama maybe wengine watakanga watu mtu ana drive, kau drive anakuona anakuondokea, unaona? So mimi kusema mimi ni mwanaume, yani ndio mtu ajue ni mwanaume, lazima ukue uko fiti na lazima ukuwe unafanya kazi mzuri, uko na do na wewe si ule mtu violent, unaona. Watu wengine wanataka kuwa violent ndio kuonekana wao ni mandume. Si lazima kuwa violent ndio kuwa mwanaume.
Unaweza tulia tu na bado uko mwanaume.
Unaweza tulia tu na bado kuwa mwanaume. Juadi unaweza tulia tu hivi, pale wanakutambua ama familia yako inakutambua. Juu unasimama with your own words, unaona. Mwanaume ongea vitu mara mingi. Kama ni kusema kitu nasema hivi na inakuwa hivyo. Sasa kuongea hivi alafu nasema kitu kingine tena. Ningesema kitu nasema inakuwa hivi na inakuwa hivyo.
Yes, Daktari, just allow me to get into this direction.
I am a man, yes.
You're a man, I think. I'm sure. You're sure?
Yes.
Well, now that you said you're a man, what defines a man, according to you?
According to me, I am a surgeon, so I will argue from the scientific side, but there's a cultural side also. So when we are talking about assigning gender and all that, so there is the biological gender, and then there's the gender of rearing, or the cultural gender, so to speak. Biologically, you are a man at inception if you have what we call the Y chromosome and the X chromosome. And that predisposes you before you are born to having started developing male organs, male organs. And then as the child grows, by the time they get to puberty and adolescence, the chemistry starts to change them. The voice breaks, the beard grows, and the assigned roles start taking shape.
Yes.
And that's how the man becomes. That is biological and scientific.
Okay.
But in the context of the world and the culture, the question then becomes, so what defines a man in our society?
Yes.
And what defines a man in my society, in the male culture, might be different from your Mulembe or Rift culture, whichever you pick.
Yeah.
And for that, then it has to be completely situational. In a world where we are slowly dropping off our cultural heritage, much to our detriment, and getting, I would call it modernized, no, I will call it westernized, and picking a lot of Western culture, then that dilutes and blurs the lines. So you do not know, okay, so what does a man do in this? My wife is always saying, even during check see you changing the diapers, they might say, they're not a true married man. So you see, something is wrong. Yeah, something might be wrong with this. Yeah. So growing up, perhaps to go back into context, I knew, and we knew right from childhood, that if you are a boy, there are certain roles assigned to you. You take care of the cows or the goats.
Yeah.
You come back, you return them. You do this and these other things. The girls probably fetch water,
yes,
fetch firewood, and they make food or something like that. And then you go through various rites of initiation, and as you grow old into a full adult, then the man is for the compounded outside, and then the lady is for the kitchen and the other chores or something like that. And then over time, of course, they start blending. I feel like in my short lifespan, I've seen a lot of blend, especially brought about by Christianity and brought about by education, that suddenly the role distribution has taken a back burner. And
the gender roles.
The gender role definition has taken back burner, and now it keeps blurring the lines of role assignment. But biology remains the same. Biology remains the same. Even if you want to mimic being a lady, your voice is still broken. You really have to work hard on getting your beard off, or even the musculature nature of it. Yeah, so I think what is clear, though, even as we talk about gender equity or gender equality or role assignment in terms of gender lines, at the end of the day, the man kind of remains the head of the house, so to speak, in most of the established settings. The lady still has to bear children, because those are biological imperatives that cannot be transferred to the man. But then there's a lot of task sharing. And I think it's really contextualized. It's contextual and situational on what people expect. So if you go to your homestead, what is expected of the head of the house, who is the man, might be slightly different from another homestead based on what they have seen or something like that. Yeah, so you might have a head of the house who is more at home, and the lady of the house is busier in a career that maybe needs her traveling a lot, and that kind of seems to be reversing the roles, as opposed to the tradition where the transition was the man was out fending and bringing. Fending for the house and bringing. Fending for the house and bringing. And now slowly the mom is no longer stay at home mom. Because the demands have gone higher, the cost of living is gone higher and all that. So it's an interesting space and time to be alive, because in the next 2 years, in the next 2 decades, we don't know what
things will be different.
Things might be different, but we'll keep watching and seeing. But what is for a fact is biologically you can't alter. Biologically you can't alter. Yes.
Culturally, how I'm sure you've come from a certain tribe or culture. How do are men perceived in your culture? Men are seen as what? Providers, security, what?
So in my Kikuyu culture, men are perceived as what? As breadwinners, protectors. I don't know.
Ama uko men wako tu?
Wanafaa kuprovide familia zao. They are the breadwinners. Everyone is looking up to them. But that doesn't mean that the lady ama the partner is not making efforts pia to wakuja wapatane kwa the meets to meet the ends of the family. But they are perceived as breadwinners, protectors. The family looks up to them.
What about culture? I mean, a good number of men, especially the boys who are in campus, maybe they have left somewhere, some village, and gone to campus. They have left Mandera, Siaya, Kitale, Busia, Mombasa, coast, These are people who have grown up in different cultures. And I think this somehow how that has impacted the perception of being a man.
Right. Yeah. And it has. And let me tell you something, Dr. Harry.
Yes.
I have seen boys from the village, even the ones who come to the city.
Yeah.
They have a very strong value system. I'm telling you the truth.
Yes.
In the village, they're taught how to respect women. In the village, they're taught how a man has to work hard by words and by seeing. We see them. I mean, when I go to Busia to see my mom, I see men of age riding bicycles and the sugarcane or maize at the back, and they're from the shamba. Young people growing up seeing that, understand the value of hard work. Now, we may ignore them because we think the bright city lights is what we all aspire to get to. But value takes people very far. And you get that when they come to the big city, if they remain the straight and narrow, those are the ones who largely end up being great men in this society. I've had stories of very great men. And I'm not saying growing up in the city will not make you successful, because also you can just be focused and just be a sheep among wolves. But I'm talking about what culture does back in the villages, what we'd call the villages. The value of hard work, the value of respect, the value of togetherness. In the city, there is a lot of competition. Who has the best car? Who has the best suit? Who has more likes on Facebook? I see young men desperate for followership. I mean, let me tell you something, so that we understand where I'm coming from. About village and city. In the city, you are known to be the bazoo, the big boy. If you put a flyer, thank you for my 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I wonder why people post photos like that. You have actually paid a designer to design a flyer to thank 100,000 people for following you. As you thank them, where are you taking them yourself? As they're following you. And they're not yours. Because there's 100,000, I'm also following another person with a million followers.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is what makes people beat their chest.
Yeah.
But go to the village. I went at 5 o'clock, I was in the shamba, and I've brought maize back home. And my wife is cooking.
Yeah.
And now we are sitting with the wazes. And we are calling the young men to sit around us, to tell them about life. And the stories of the village is big on history. You know, 50 years ago, my father used to live in that small house. And then we developed to that house. History makes you solid in the present.
Yeah.
But here, history is yesterday. History is who was trending yesterday in the blogs. History is who liked my status this morning.
Yeah.
So we are having what we call loud people in the city, but quiet brains. There's nothing there.
There's nothing.
People in the village may come to the big lights,
Yeah.
and they may not be the popular ones in the universities, but their weight will be felt later in life when they become presidents, when they become great people. I mean, if you look at our current president, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, well, he was a chicken seller at some point. I look at some of his photos and I'm like, I don't think if anybody told him, or maybe I know he believed himself, he's a go-getter, but if people are to pick around those days who is likely to be president, I don't think they would have picked him. But look at that value.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a very objective person. You say what you say about him. The man at 55 has achieved what many at 90 will never achieve.
Yeah.
Value system.
Values.
Yeah.
Sure. Before we leave the part of culture,
Yes.
there are those who will hold the opinion that culture has made men to stagnate in a value system that is backdated, maybe less 1990s.
Yes.
Let's say that expecting a woman to cook for you and several others. So like there is a big part of culture that is perceived to be backward. Yes.
And I agree with you, Dr. Ari. And I'm not saying we take everything we get holistic, because there's some things that are outdated and must have been overtaken by time. We don't make women slaves, not at all. And sometimes you wonder, why do these women happily in the villages cook for their husbands? Do you know why they do that? Because they see how hard their husbands have worked. Dr. If you leave your house at 5 in the morning, come back at 5 in the evening, you'll get a woman ready to cook for you. I'm telling you the truth.
Without saying a word.
But you cannot be watching football, Manchester United, and you're saying, we have bought. You and who? Which player have you bought? How much did you contribute? And then you go home saying, where's the food? I mean, there has to be a balance. If you work hard, if somebody sees effort, your efforts are rewarded. And I'm not saying, and I don't want to raise men, young boys to become men who think that the only thing a woman can do is be in the kitchen. That's wrong. You know, the fact that you see it in the village does not mean that you have to bring everything into the city, because it's a different ball game. But the value of, now when it comes to that, is respect to the women. Yes. Respect, not sleeping around, and that's okay. But yes, there's some things that I agree with you. There's some things in culture that we cannot just carry them forward because they've been overtaken by time. But I believe, and the belief is so strong in me, that the African family, the African culture has held us in good stead. Because when you look at the European cultures and all those places, when you go to those countries, some of those things, now there is male, female, and other. Other.
True.
What is that other for? But you see, it has been easily accepted there because culture has been eroded. But there are some things in the African culture, even if some things are being done, they have to be so much in secret because our culture does not accept that. So, and I like that about our culture. We may not be a first world country. We may be a third world country. But there are some things we are first class in some things that we're supposed to be on value system.
Wow. Good. Now,
so I love culture. I'm a very traditional man.
Yes.
I'm a very.
You are?
Oh, totally. Oh, I'm a very traditional man. This thing of this modern thing. I mean, I feel sorry, Daktari, for our children, our children's children.
Yeah.
If we are not careful, culture will be eroded. And there's some things in the African culture that we should never let go. Otherwise, tabia hii tunapata zinakuja huku. Kuna tabia zingine mbaya sana. And they are slowly seeping into our young boys and girls.
Yeah.
Now, the question I want to ask you is, for you, on your understanding, what does being a man mean?
Okay, I think it's a tough question, but I can respond depending with how I've been brought up and from the community where I come from. So being a man, or else maybe if someone asks who is a man, maybe from my community, is a sign of authority. And authority at the same time command. In my community, when they see a man, they see authority, they see command, they feel safe. So from where I come from, if I can be asked to define who a man is, I can say a man is a sign of authority, command, and even security. So I think that's my own way of defining.
But, you know, in the modern world, the word of authority and command is being challenged.
Yeah.
Because it's associated, maybe the ladies feel that when you say authority and command, it means you are oppressing the women world.
Yes, we agree that way, and the reason why I said I will define depending with where I come from and the community, that is how maybe we were brought up, and that is what was instilled to us by our those who came ahead of us. That is what they instilled to us. But the community has changed. Right now, we're taking a man to be like a source of change in the community, or a source of showing direction, and not maybe previously or long ago where they used to take a man to be the all or the final, the one dictating everything. So right now we find that maybe with the new trends and different things coming in, we find that has changed. But long time when we were still young kids growing, that is what entered into our mind. Like as a man, for example, I can use a simple example that they used to say, as a man, when you are there and maybe there is an issue, you have to stand and offer solutions, offer direction. So that is what we captured, and that is what we picked. But nowadays things have changed. Like even when we go back to the community, you find maybe things that men could do, now the female gender or the ladies also can do. So we are trying to adapt that new way. Yes.
I am Margaret.
Margaret. So thank you very much, Margaret. We appreciate that you've set your time to speak with us. And we are making a documentary called What is a Man? And we're just asking questions to understand what people understand by what being a man is. And we want to hear ladies' opinions. So to you, what would you define as a man?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. To me, I'll define a man as a leader. Yeah, I'll define as a leader, as the head of a given unit. Yeah. And in that case, it's like a family. Definitely, like in a family, a man is usually the head of a family. Yeah. When it comes to providing, definitely, okay. It depends mostly on the circumstance, or the maybe given what exactly you're talking about. Like example, like in a family setup, definitely a man is supposed to provide, but not like he's not the, of course, with the assistance of the wife or something. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, before we proceed, I would like you to take a few seconds to just let our viewers know who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Doso Radido. I am a man, an author. I consider myself a thought leader. I've done a number of books that I use to express my thoughts and perspectives. At the same time, empower other people who read me and learn from me. And as has been said, I'm a corporate trainer and a publisher. I run a publishing firm. And I'm glad to be here.
Wow.
Yep.
That's quite a collection of titles and
Yes.
experiences, which is good. Let's just get right into it. First, you said that you're a man.
Yes.
Now, what is your understanding of being a man? You know, in the Bible, the word man is used generally to refer to human beings.
Yes.
Both male and female, as the Bible put it. But in this case, as a man, we're talking an adult male human being.
Yes.
Yes. So what is your understanding of being a man?
Well, I have. I'm going to look at it from a number of perspectives. One, from a spiritual perspective, that a man is the male version of a human being that was created by God for purposes of being a leader and a seed carrier for the sake of is it regeneration?
Procreation.
Procreation, for the sake of procreation. And I also look at a man, still on the spiritual angle, looking at the functions of a man. And I like it that way because when God was creating man, he didn't just create him and put things in him. He defined for him his functions, which I think is what continues to define our manly experience here on earth. I also understand being a man from a medical science perspective, the fact that anatomically we are different, and not just anatomically, but even the way we experience life emotionally and psychologically and all that. Then I look at a man from a societal perspective that basically looks at the gender roles, a lot of which draws from the spiritual prescriptions of God. A man as a provider, a man as a leader, a man as being a defender of their family, a man as being a procreator, a seed carrier for that matter, a man as being this masculine entity with lots of manly energy for the sake of working the work and building their visions and building on their ideas and all these things that come to mind. Yeah.
That's quite a wide perspective. Let's just look at a few things that you've mentioned. From the first that you mentioned about a man being a leader, maybe a provider as well. Women right now say that women have come up in terms of professional and the people can work and put something on the table, which is a good thing. So if a man's role was to provide and to lead, but right now everybody is putting something on the table.
Yes.
What is left for the man to do in a family setting?
Well, I think that's a very important question because a lot of times if you look at the definitions of gender from the gender roles, it was distinct when we began. We said men will do this and women will do this. So my opinion is that if the fact that a woman can do what a man can do in terms of gender roles, or a man can do what a woman can do, because we have men who can do what women used to do, cooking, washing, taking care of the baby, etc. That does not change somebody from being a man to a woman or a woman to a man. We are just living in a society that is a lot more enlightened and a lot more borderless, if I may use that word, where gender roles and functions are crisscrossing. But even as we crisscross the functional lines, we still remain structurally men or women. So we will appreciate the fact that we are opening the space up, and I am an advocate for that. That lets women be all they can be in terms of their capabilities and their functionalities and their roles. And if they can take a lot more than they had been defined for them previously, let them go ahead. But as they do that, there is a uniqueness they bring to it, because a woman leader does not lead like a man leader because of certain advantages that women have in their makeup that makes them to exercise leadership differently. So it doesn't mean that if a woman can provide, they are the man of the house and the man now is a woman of the house. You know, it doesn't change the basic structure makeup of a human person.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yes.
The other thing that you mentioned is the fact that the sense of being a man starts from the biology. And the male genitalia, that will make somebody to be a man. But there are people who are in between.
Yes.
What will that make them feel?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and I think someone who has a lot more deeper medical understanding will be able to put it across. But from the little knowledge I have is that sometimes genetics get messed up, and somebody has a physical expression of both male features and female features. But in my understanding, the two cannot be functional in one individual at the same time. One of them has to suppress the other, and I think people who understand medical science would bring the understanding of the role of hormones and all those kind of things. But when I look at a man, this is what I believe, that when God was making a male person, there are certain things that he pulled together into the package. A little bit of masculinity, a little bit of hormonal, a little bit of anatomical stuff, a little bit of the functions of a man, natural functions of a man, as in things that men would easily flow into and do them. Just the same way we have things that women would easily flow into and do them. I think that's part of the package. But for me, one of the most important things that I think came from the creation story is the spirit of a man. There is something that comes on you as a man that causes you to continue to operate as a man, so that even if we changed your body a little and we planted breasts on you and enlarged your hips and injected hormones in you, that thing still remains in you, that causes you to remain to be a man. So people who are born with this biological situation where they have both male and female expressions in terms of the physical makeup. It's a genetic something. It doesn't make them man-woman entirely. They have that situation, but there is one side that is more dominant and than the other. So that in that case, if it is something that can be cured medically, I would leave that to people who have a deeper understanding of medical science.
Being a man, it depends with the kind of responsibility that you have, because man is seen as a head of a family, and even when God was creating man, he created man to be a very unique image or very unique person, and that is why he was given the responsibility even to name the animals and everything according to the Bible. So for me to be a man is having a very tough responsibility and very tough questions to answer in life, and for me, that is being a man. It's the responsibilities that I'm having, as a man, and my responsibility will always differ from the responsibility of women.
So can you expound on responsibility? What exactly do you mean by having responsibilities?
Okay, having responsibility, to me, I have a family, you see, and I have kids, and that is why you're seeing me here working to provide for my family. So it is my responsibility to know whether my child is going to school, whether my child is feeding, whether my wife, she's okay. I think this is a kind of thing that is surrounding man in life, because if you come to a point, many people and many young people, they have neglected that kind of responsibility, because they're very tough responsibility and very hard responsibility when it comes to daily life, because those responsibilities, they keep repeating themselves. There is no time I will come to say that my child will not feed anymore.
Yeah.
You see, but it's a daily responsibility. So it is my responsibility to know the well-being of my wife, well-being of my kids, and I need also to think about, as a man, I need to think about my grandchildren. How will they be in future? I need to think about the future of my wife, the future of my kids, because you find many kids in the street, their life are messed up. Why? Because of there is some man somewhere, he has neglected his responsibility.
There's a scripture in Proverbs 27:17 that says, iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. I will use this that we discuss two things. First, there is the issue of boy child being left out, especially with the rise of the girl child empowerment. Do you think that's a danger, or it's something good for the future men?
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yes, it's bad.
Okay.
Society, first of all, is anchored on both male and female. But you can never replace the functions and the position of a man in a society. They say if you see any broken society or community, it will always lead to the absence of a man in that society. So it's okay, we need to develop women, we need to help women understand their potential and rise to the occasion. But let's not do that in the expense of leaving out the boy, because men are strong. Men are strong. That's their predominant gift given by God. And you see, strong things without direction will only bring chaos.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So you'll be ignoring giving them direction. But naturally they have strength.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. If you see 10 women standing in that corner, and you see 10 men standing in that corner, and it's at night, which corner will you choose to pass through? That tells
looking at them as a threat.
As a threat.
You will go to the side of women most
Why?
likely.
Because you'll perceive that they are, even if they come against me, I can be able to. But they are, and that's what I'm saying. There's so much of this overemphasis on the negligence of the boy. They should just take care of themselves. But men literally need to be developed for them to become responsible in that society. Because our women will need us. At the time they need us, we are not yet there.
Exactly. So that leads us to the second part of one man sharpens another. I feel like there's a generational gap of the boys and the men. And there's de-link between mentoring, handing over virtues, values, and just helping the boys to grow. The boys feel like, you're a different generation, so you cannot, your values and your virtues are not beneficial to us currently.
And that's a problem. That's a problem with men. You see, men don't like learning. Men just want to be there. Most men don't want to be developed. I'll give you an example. You see, that's why most of the young people don't have, their mentors are, they don't have academic mentors, character mentors. They only have celebrity mentors because they want to ignore the process but get the results. And that's the problem. Every man should know that a man is made by another man. That's why iron sharpens iron. You need to find a stronger person to develop you. You can't grow by yourself. The way women get better is that women learn. They have the capacity to learn. When they are getting into their young age, they are taught by their mothers, they are taught by the females around them that this is how a woman thinks, sits, cleans and does things. But the men are outside there playing, or they're playing PS and trying to look for their heroes in that football match on the PS. But the truth of the matter is, if they are not developed, when the girl is being developed, the girl will become stronger than you. So a man needs another man to develop him.
No question about
it. No question about it.
All right.
The other factor that is really affecting our generation is young people don't want mentorship. And you see, mentorship is a platform which has been set for you to get somebody who can
take your hand and show you the way.
Yeah.
You see, now our generation doesn't want mentorship. And you see, one advantage of mentorship is this person will be able to work with you in your diaper stages.
Yeah.
For example, you have a mentor in matters marriage. That person has been in marriage for over the last 10 years and you've been there for 2 years. You ought to need mentorship. So that is where the problem is also. Yeah.
I mean, of course, with mentorship, you get the opportunity to be led and directed, maybe to save you a lot of mistakes that they made. You don't need to go back to that.
Yeah.
But why is it hard? Why is it hard to look for mentorship or to walk through that process of mentorship?
Okay, number one, I can say one challenge is our youths want balloon success. You see, they want to wake up today and tomorrow they want to become billionaires. It doesn't work like that. You see, there are principles. One thing with principles cannot be broken. And you see, one life principle is mentorship is a key aspect for you to achieve success in a different field that you're in.
Yeah.
So one factor that is really affecting the youth or our generation right now is, number one, the desire to succeed very fast, and also pride. They feel like they know everything.
And then you don't want to be held accountable.
You don't want to be held accountable. Very true. Yeah.
You want to be a man of your own.
Yes.
And there's this innate nature of men, especially at certain age, you know, as you're transitioning, where somebody is always against any set of rules. Like at home, you don't want to obey.
Very true. That is why even right now, many men, if you analyze, according to statistics, 70% of the young men or the young adults who are male are not in good terms with their fathers. Why? Because the moment they saw they can sleep with a lady and they can impregnate a lady, then they're on the same level with their fathers. Na hapo ndio penye our generation ina hata sahi. Yeah, you cannot be at the same level as your father. Yeah, so you need to look up to that man, because even that man carries your blessings.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are in college, of course you interact with your male friends. Do you think they are doing things that make you happy, that there's a future, a good future for men? For you as a lady, you might probably want to be married. When you look around, are you happy that the boys are becoming men to provide a good future husband? Ama wako tu?
Hai, wako tu. Kwanza vijana wa campus, hawa wako tu. Like you see, someone is not even, he's not, yeah, for the ones I've seen, yes, they are wako tu. I'll say they're wako tu, because you can see they're not even ambitious, they're just there. Because most people nowadays, they're into sherehes. A higher percentage, yes, they were going to parties and everything, bang, pombe, nini. Like you can't, like, kwanza especially in campuses, like you see a higher percentage, of which itakuwa a shida in the future, because these are the same men we're looking up to for family. Watakuwa natuprovide familia, watakuwa wanakuwa role models to our kids, you see. So it's as much as right now you don't see it's a big problem to enjoy maisha, in later then in life itakuwa more of itakuwa issue to the so for me wako tu, and it will be a very, 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 very big problem to our future generation and our future kids, because they don't have fathers they look up to. They're not God-fearing. They're just there. So you can imagine kids, the new generation, where dad is just there drinking and everything. What habits they will itakuwa tu. I don't think itakuwa tu evil. So for me, wako tu.
Let's keep on the part of character.
Yes, sir.
At what point does somebody be sure that these are my values? Because are we born with them, or we have to learn?
We got to learn.
Okay.
Environment, culture. When you are born, the only thing we know is to cry.
Yeah.
But why is the child crying? Crying to the world, show me the way.
Yeah.
Crying to the male figures as a son. Hold my hand and teach me how to be a man.
Yes.
I've not been in this world. I was in a closed up world in the womb for 9 months.
Yeah.
Now I've come and I'm feeling all these weathers, and I'm feeling the weather. I'm seeing people, I'm hearing noises. I need somebody to teach me the way. There are people who believe getting drunk is a good thing because they grew up seeing that. And that is why I'm big on mentorship.
Yeah.
And that's why you're doing a show like this. It's for us to understand who we are, get our value, so that the boys following us will understand the value system. So the environment helps. The people around you largely help. We are where we are not because of our own doing. No, it's because God positioned people along the way. And by the way, the devil also positions people along the way. So then it's who has the loudest voice. Now we are seeing young boys wearing sagging jeans. It's because the loudest voice has told them that's what being a man is. And yet the right voice is, the sober voice is, listen, make something out of your life, go to school, you know, be a responsible citizen. But the loudest voice are telling them sagging jeans, big chains, and sleep around. So environment and your mentors, because you can never be a person of authority if you're not a person under authority. So who are you submitting to? What voice are you listening to?
So why would you choose to become a transformational speaker?
It is not even a choice, it's a calling. It's something that was in me, I discovered it. It started disturbing me, started troubling me from when I was young. I always sought for opportunities to speak to people. I remember I would look for any little opportunity when I was in high school to at least go and to speak to people in primary school, but I didn't know the direction. So when I got to campus, that is Kenyatta University, I would look for opportunity. I would just go out of school when I don't have classes. I go to places like Idurai and other places looking for schools to speak to students for free. Now my satisfaction was when I felt like I've really transformed someone's life with a statement. Yes, it was when I met a mentor. My mentor is actually an apostle. It's called Apostle Eric Israel Okere. That now started shaping me because he came to speak to our school, and the way he spoke, I felt like I want to speak like this guy. So I started following him, and that is how I learned. So from there, I cut my niche in the area of transformational speaking. That is how I started. And from there, books started following, and in that manner. Yes, sir.
Yes, now mentioning the aspect of mentor, I assume your mentor you said is called?
Apostle Eric Israel Okere.
Eric.
Yes.
So he's a man.
He's a man.
And you looked up to a man.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Well, I can say that, you know, it's something I didn't plan, that I want to have a man as, it happened that he turned out to be the right person that I wanted to emulate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So at that time you're not looking at any specific thing from the perspective of being a man?
You know, apart from that, most of the people I admired were men. You know, it is very difficult to admire something you cannot become.
Okay.
Yes, as much as I know there are women who did great things and the rest, but I always admired men because I know at least there's a possibility of doing the same thing.
All right.
Yes, of course, when it comes to speaking, there are women who are very powerful speakers that I learn from globally. Even, I mean, there are even Buddhists, I mean, all kinds of people who are uncommon speakers, and I learn from them seriously. Yeah, but I don't know, there's this thing that will always push you to the person that you are like. Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go in that direction.
Yes.
You know, you did not plan to choose a mentor who is a man.
Yes.
But subconsciously,
yes,
it seems like that happened.
Yes.
Because you have a myriad of people that you like, but you chose somebody.
Exactly.
Let's say, is it so important that if a young boy, is it important that they should stick to a man to be a mentor, or a young boy can look up to a lady for mentorship?
I think so. I believe so. Because there are, if you're a man and you go to be mentored, it depends on mentoring you in which aspect, because there are many aspects of mentorship.
Yeah.
If it is, for example, is a woman has acquired certain skills that you'd like to learn from, that's very fantastic. She can mentor you in that area. Okay?
Yeah.
If maybe, let's assume she's maybe a pastor and you want to serve you can serve under her and she can mentor you to be one. There is no problem. There are even musicians who have been mentored by women and they are men. That's okay, because why? They are mentoring you in a certain direction. But now, generally, as a male, as someone that guides you in life generally, yes, you need them for certain aspects, but you also need a man who will mentor you from personal experiences.
Yes.
Yes, because of the things that you're likely to experience as a man, which they have passed through.
All right.
Yes.
Swali lingine, should a man be emotionally controlled?
Emotionally controlled.
Like mwanaume akikuja kukulilia utasikia?
Okay. Akikuja kunililia to...
Let's say he's your boyfriend and he cries because of a difficult situation.
Like literally crying. Okay. To be honest, to me it will sound so weird. Yeah.
So you don't expect a man to cry?
Okay, I have never seen that. And okay. Okay, a man crying to me, it sounds so weird.
It's your boyfriend, not any other person.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Hata kama ni boy wangu, but okay, nitamuelewa tu, but si normal to me.
It's not normal. Okay. Yeah. All right. Last question. When you have so many issues going on in your life, maybe to the point that you are stressed, as a man, where do you find help? Wewe unanyamaza tu, unatafuta wanaume wengine unazungumza na wao, you go to church, or what do you do?
Kwa sasa kwangu inakuwa challenging sana nikipata issue juu my dad and my mom they separated, unaona. So nianza pata issue, unajua kuna issue zingine huwezi pata uambia mama yako. Tena kuna issue nyingine unaweza pata huwezi ambia mzae, unaona. So mimi huambia uncle yangu, na culture yetu tunamtanga baba. Juu ndo alinipeleka kufanya mwanaume, unaona. So nikiwa na any issues za ndoa, za maisha, nini, mimi huenda namkuta namwambia kuna shida fulani na fulani na fulani, anipe advice.
You've grown up maybe in a family or in a community, and you've observed what men are going through. And men can mean maybe your uncles, your father, your brothers. What do you think are the expectations that have been put upon men?
I think, first of all, I think there's a lot of pressure from the community because there's some things that they need to do. Anafaa alipe rent if that is they live in a rental house. Anafaa alipe school fees. Anafaa provide Johnny akikuja, like the wife doesn't want to know kama amepata job after ameenda kuhustle ama hajapata. They need to, like, they just have a lot of responsibilities that the community, I think it's just a pressure from the community in our force wafanye. I think it's been forced juu si kupenda kwao. Mtu hana job lakini you don't care, you lazima alipe rent, lazima alipe school fees, lazima provide everything in that house.
So okay, now tukiendelea na hiyo, unaona wakati unaendelea kujituma, ladies, wanawake wana appreciate the effort ya kukua mwanaume, wana support wanaume, ama wanaume wako peke yake?
Kulingana na hilo, si kila mwanamke anaweza appreciate kipato chako, si wote. Lakini mwanamke mwenye anakuamini, mnaaminiana vizuri, huyo mwanamke ata appreciate. Hata umpatie 10 bob, utasikia amekwambia asante. Lakini kuna mwingine unampata shilingi 100 hivi, anakurushia. Unaona? So si kila mwanamke anarudisha shukrani. Yeah.
Men go through a lot of challenges. Do you have any specific that you've observed in a man? The challenges that men go through that are unique to men?
That are unique to men. I think as the way the society, the way they vision men, most of the time a man is supposed to, like, to have answers to almost everything. But that is that concerns the society. So I think the major challenge is at times men go through some issues, and probably the society or maybe they are not able to open up to what they are going through, even if it's something tough. You know, they're supposed like to toughen up, let's toughen up in quotes. So some men tend to, you know, to hold it back. Yeah. So I think that's the major challenge. But like almost they go through everything else like what women do.
What about the expectations that the society has over men? There are, I don't know if you can agree, expectations on a man.
Yeah, as I said, the expectations of a man, most of the times I tend to think men are supposed to you know, they're expected to have it all figured out. Yeah, that's what I tend to think most men are supposed to. But personally, like, you know, we are all human beings. We face almost similar challenges from day to day. So the issue that men are supposed like to have everything figure it out in as far as maybe like providing for the family is concerned, maybe at the workplace and all that. Yeah.
Now, if a man complains to you, it's not like they're complaining about you, but about a situation they have.
Yeah.
How do you feel as a woman?
Personally, I'm an empathetic person. I believe I am. So I'll like maybe if they tell me about a particular situation, definitely I'll want to know more about it. What's the issue, and if there's any way I can assist, yeah, I'll be glad to. Yeah.
What if a man is so pressed with issues that he cries in front of you?
No, to me, I won't see it as a sign of weakness.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I won't. You know, it's based from experience. Yeah. No, it's not a sign of weakness. Because, you know, they say before you see a man's tears, it has, you know, it's not like I was just here. Years, you know, for me it comes. Yeah. So I'll not see it as a sign of weakness, definitely. I'll inquire what exactly will be the issue. If they are willing to open up, yeah, maybe, you know, if there's a way I can assist. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're the first lady I'm hearing this. Mostly we find that ladies will look at a man differently if they cry. And most men say they will prefer not to cry in front of their, let's say, their wives. You go cry elsewhere, wipe your tears and come back looking strong.
In your interaction, maybe as a speaker and as a psychologist, kuna youths, both ladies and men. So we are talking about men. What are some of the common problems that you have seen that the men are going through?
Oh, good question. The men have been forgotten. That is one thing I can say. And there are so many challenges that are affecting the men, straight from a person becoming a boy to the aspect where this boy has become a man and has a family. So there are so many cases that I've handled as a practicing psychologist. And one of the major issues right now is suicide and also depression, because the male child has been forgotten, the boy child has been forgotten. This is because of the societal factors and a lot of pressure that comes from within and from without as well. Yeah.
Okay. Let's still maintain the same conversation. So you're saying most youths, men, are coming with depression, suicide tendencies. So definitely there is something that must have pushed these people towards their direction. It's not always a one thing event.
Yeah.
So if you can go back, what are some of the things that you've unearthed that might be leading men to this direction?
Yeah, some of the factors that have caused such, as I've said, is pressure. And when we look at pressure, there are different aspects of pressure. Pressure is triggered by different factors. And number one is personal pressure. We have personal pressure, whereby currently we are in the social media age, whereby people are really getting pressure because their friend posted a good selfie and behind was a Range Rover. And maybe that person just went in town and they saw a good Range Rover and decided to take a good photo. But you as a man, you saw your friend posting a photo of that car and you got pressure from inside. And you thought, am I the only person who is not making it in life? So at that particular moment, you develop personal pressure. And there's also family pressure. This is pressure that is caused by the family setup. And here we look at pressure coming from the child. Maybe you have a child, you're really trying as a man. A man naturally has been built to try hard and to provide for the family. And when you have your child there, your child, because he is in school and their friends are being bought PlayStations and toys, and you in your capacity as the man of that house, you are unable to do that, and your child is really crying. You tend to get that pressure to provide. And also for your wife will say that their fellow friends are being taken out by their husbands to Dubai, and your capacity financially cannot sustain that. So you end up getting that family pressure. And the third aspect of a pressure is called societal pressure. This is pressure that comes from the society. The society has been constructed in a way that a man is supposed to behave in these certain dimensions. So if you don't meet, for example, the society says a man should not cry. So you're out there, things are very challenging for you. You're getting that pressure, but then you don't have the ability to release that pressure. It's like a pressure. It's like a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker has been designed in a way that it can release that pressure. But you see, for men, you get that pressure, you incubate it, but you don't have a safe space where you can release it. And you see, when you look at these dimensions that affect the 3 dimensions that affect this aspect of depression and suicide, that is where men go wrong. And they end up committing suicide, and some of them get other mental disorders. Yeah.
Okay, men, the fact that men don't like sharing whatever they're going through to any other person. Like they like keeping things to themselves. And this thing is really eating them inside. Yeah. So that is one thing mimi naona wanaume they are going through. Yani your stress that they don't share to any other person. Yeah.
When we talk about men, I think it will be good to go to the extent and not just to talk about the social expectations or religious expectations of men. It will be good as well to talk about the health of men. And that is why this whole program was started. So let's talk about the health of men.
Let's talk about men's health.
Men's health.
As a surgeon, I'm sure you interact with different kinds of patients, men, women, young, old.
Yes.
How do men take their health? How do they approach their health? Is it different? Is it just the same way? Do they delay to come to hospital? Are they pressed with issues so much that they forget about themselves?
Yeah, anecdotal observation is that men will come to hospital when it is so serious. When it is so serious and therefore slightly advanced, whichever disease, be it pneumonia, be it cancer, etc. And I think there is some evidence to this, but I will have to read a little more. But what I observe in the world is you will find that the men will come slightly later than women. What I see in the social circles that might influence the health-seeking behavior is that ladies are more socialized in groups, and they are quickly able to say, hey, I'm feeling this. Are you guys feeling this? Like they can really share, they can hug, they can be very close and open with each other. Men, we tend to be a little of lone rangers. I'm sure you belong maybe to just one chama or just one social group where you share issues. Women have got many, fora. They are always meeting over tea. They are always discussing something. They are being vulnerable with each other, and that kind of, that openness, I think trickles even into health-seeking behavior. And I think it's something as men we need to learn from women to just share our struggles with one another, and see how that goes. I don't know if we have been, grown to and cultured to feel that men should be macho, men should not show vulnerability, men should be there when everyone else is sorted out. Now they can say, I am also hungry, or I am also hurting, when they know that the wife has been taken care of and children have been taken care of. Now is the time to say, okay, I also need something. I'm also feeling like this. I think the gender role assignment right from growing up has been you provide for others, and then you can survive with your struggles. You are bigger, you are stronger. These things should not break you down. You were just mentioning to me before we started that there's all this, which is in so many cultures, that men should not cry. Like, but crying is not a cultural problem, it's a biological thing. You feel it, you break down, and now we want to hide. We don't want to show that we cried. So I think it's a complex phenomenon. I am sure psychologists and mental health experts have those perspectives, and neuroscientists have those other perspectives. But there's a lot of expectation also placed, I think, on the man, and the vulnerable side does not come out. So by the time you are seeking help, you are in the extreme end of things. That doesn't augur well. If you go to the ward anytime, and I have a colleague who talks a lot about that, you go to a ladies' ward, the ladies, they wake up, they shower nicely, they apply
and they're in the hospital.
Yeah, even in the hospital, they apply some oil nicely, they are looking presentable even when they are struggling with disease. Men are disheveled, they are to be forced to go brush. The lady has more visitors who are not even blood relatives, maybe the Kikundi, the Chama members have come to visit them. The man, maybe not so much. So the generation of the man, we really have to look out for them. Otherwise, they might ebb away without our attention in the imagination that I am self-sufficient. I don't need people to come or something like that. Those are interesting things, and I really also would be excited to find out what you will find out in this endeavor, and on how we can help the boy child in the entire spectrum of things.
Another question still on men's health. There are habits and lifestyle that they tend to be also male predominant, and how they impact health. So I'm saying something like alcohol, smoking, nyama choma. Yes, those are habits that anyone does them, but predominantly males.
Yes.
Does that impact men's health, general, not just mental?
Not just mental
from your perspective as a surgeon.
I think it does. I think it does, because especially when you're coming for health checkup and we're talking about non-communicable diseases and cardiovascular diseases, a lot of alcohol intake, we will always put it as a risk factor for quite a number of things, number of cancers, a number of non-communicable diseases. Junk eating, which most of the time might go with alcohol intake. The nyama choma you're talking about, the fast food, and now people are coming with elevated cholesterol, people are coming with high levels of uric acid, just because of the diet that you're talking about, because maybe the socializing behavior has been, come, let's catch up over a bottle of beer and over a kilo of nyama choma, mbuzi choma, and something else to go with it, and that goes on a tad too many times. And then not because the eating is bad, but because it becomes habitual, then probably someone drops their workout habit, and then that makes it deleterious to their effect. When you look at how we've grown, I have been to countries where I think women spoke more than men. In Kenya, I think we don't have as many women smokers, but in the urban centers, you have them. I actually remember one time we were in the club with my wife, and asked her, do you think there are more ladies in this club than men? And we started looking around. The same way I was saying, so ladies would come in like a group of 2, 3, or 4, and they take a table and they start drinking. And I started wondering, okay, many ladies are not beating us to our game as men. So in another maybe decade or so, we might have that problem shifting. It might shift. I don't know, but I project it might shift, especially in the urban. But in the traditional sense of things, maybe women didn't drink a lot. Smoking isn't an issue a lot in the females. Unless those cooking in poorly ventilated areas, and therefore they're just having that smoking from the firewood, the old ladies. So it's cultural thing, and I think it goes to that extent. But at the moment now, the tide keeps shifting. But anyone taking alcohol, anyone who is not eating healthy, anyone who has not taken a healthy lifestyle in terms of balanced diet and exercise, and anyone who is engaging in sedentary lifestyle, they are at risk. Communicable diseases, lifestyle diseases, even cancers now. And that shoe is shifting from the male gender, slowly creeping to the ladies who are otherwise safe. Yes.
Do you mind just mentioning a few, just for the sake of the men? A few, let's be specific, cancers that are related to alcohol, smoking. Yeah.
Well, you can mention so many, really. You can mention so many. Any cancer you mention, I want to be very clear on this. Any cancer we mention, alcohol intake and smoking will be on top. But if you come to smoking, for instance, what we know we always tag as a risk factor to smoking is lung cancer. Okay? It's lung cancer. Again, I said any cancer, you can say cigarette smoking and alcohol intake is a risk factor. When you look at heavy alcohol consumption, one of the things we look at is liver. So alcohol will most probably give you lead to liver failure, and a certain liver dysfunction will years down the line lead to cancer, transformation, cancer of the liver. But even the stomach, and the esophagus, a lot of heavy intake of certain kinds of cancer will lead to certain changes that slowly over time can predispose to cancer of the stomach. So even when we are talking about cancer of the stomach, we will look for years of smoking, years of alcohol intake, and exposure to certain chemicals, and say these are risk factors for cancer development. So granted, what is happening with cancer, because of the long time it takes from the time you have been exposed to that causative or risk factor to the time you develop cancer, is in surgery and in medicine in general, we do not say this is what caused the cancer. We say, oh, these are risk factors, except a few where you know, okay, Epstein-Barr virus causes this cancer. This other virus causes this cancer. Human papilloma virus causes cervical cancer. But most of the others will say these are risk factors. Yes.
All right. And risk factors work together to eventually
absolutely, yes. So what happens is you slowly getting one hit, another hit, another hit. You can imagine someone who is panel beating a metal. With every blow, the metal is bending. If you meet him here beating a straight rod, when you come back next year, it will have taken a semicircle. When you come after another year, it will become a U. So that is what happens with our bodies and those risk factors. If you are taking something that is irritating your stomach or irritating your esophagus, and you keep irritating that cell over and over and over, outside of what it was meant to be irritated, then at a certain point X, it will have been so irritated that it will turn into a dangerous looking cell, and that cell is the cancer cell. And those heat can come in the way of smoking, it can come in the way of alcohol intake, it can come in the way of various other what we call chronic inflammation, which is an irritation of a certain cell.
Okay. Last question on men's health. Just something about the prostate. For men. The prostate is important for men.
Absolutely.
It is. So just maybe one or two things that men should look out as far as prostate health is concerned.
Absolutely. Prostate health is important for male. It's one of the isolated cancers that only attack males. Okay? In breast, we say maybe 98-99% is for ladies, but still the 1-2% can attack males. But for the prostate, we haven't had a lady who gets prostate cancer, because prostate is a gland only available in the male, because it's supposed to produce some fluids that are helpful in the reproductive health. There are two things. As men grow, the prostate size also grows. Actually, we say at a certain point, you can look at the size of the prostate and corresponding to the age of the patient. The patient is 70, their prostate is probably 70 grams or something like that. You can use that perspective. What happens is prostate cancer can develop as someone grows. And that cancer is one of the cancers that depends on the testosterone, the human testosterone, which is the human reproductive hormone, to facilitate the growth. Now the prostate problems, whether it is cancer or just prostate enlargement, which we call benign enlargement, will present with certain symptoms. And these symptoms are called urinary symptoms or urinary tract symptoms or lower urinary tract symptoms. We usually just classify them in terms of, are they irritative, in terms of, are you just going to the toilet frequently? Are you feeling like your urine is burning? Are you waking up at night many times? These are irritative symptoms, okay? And then we look at, so we call them fun, frequency, urgency, and nocturia. It's not fun, it's not fun, but you can use that acronym. Are you going very many times? Are you waking up at night? Or do you have some urgency, you can't hold, you have to run. And then they are what we call obstructive, okay? So when you go to the bathroom, if the stream was going far, like the stream of urine is going far, now it is just dropping close, and maybe it is not coming quickly, it's just small drops, and you have to strain and push it, and when you just finish, you feel like, I've not finished enough. I've not emptied completely. When you want to go out and zip up, you have to go back and completely empty the bladder. Now, all of these can be assessed, and it's important, if you feel this, you have to go and get checkup. But even if you don't feel them, it's important to get checkup. Maybe from 40, once you hit 40, just go for your annual checkup.
That's what I wanted to ask. When should men start getting serious evaluation about their prostate?
Yes, now we say at 40 years, get an annual checkup. When you go for the annual checkup, the doctor might do a digital rectal exam. They might also do a test called a PSA, which is one of the chemicals we assess that is produced by the prostate, which is prostate specific antigen. And they're able to tell you, hii ni kawaida. Unafaa kutoa kama hii. If it goes past this, hiyo prostate yako either iko na infection, ama tunaanza kutafuta kama hakuna cancer. So when you start going, it's a good habit. And I've always been an advocate in the spirit of gender equality to turn, the way we have breast cancer awareness month in October, make it health awareness month, so that everyone goes. Come on, prostate, men get checked for prostate. So it's just a physical exam, one test or maybe two tests. And from there, the doctor is able to advise. Granted, most of the time, we don't have, we may not have cancer. It may just the prostate that are getting enlarged, and you can get that advice. The other good thing about prostate cancer actually is there's a lot of movement in science to move prostate cancer, especially the low-grade prostate cancer, from being called a cancer to just being called a chronic illness. Because it is an indolent, it's a slow-growing cancer. Actually, we say in some instances the doubling time of prostate cancer could be up to 10 years. So if you have 1 gram of cancer now, by the time it gets to 2 grams, it's 10 years down the line. That is why when we catch it in the elderly people in their 70s, we tell them, do you have a life expectancy of more than 20 years? No. Live with your cancer, you might die from other things other than the cancer. So it's not that aggressive, but some of them are aggressive. But those are discussions that now get tailored down to particular patients.
Wow.
To men, as we wrap up, as we talk about this social expectations and all things that the men are going through, we cannot forget the health of a man. Cheers.